According to this, we must understand something. Surely, the 6 directions of the lower unity in breadth and length, right and left, are the very same pattern as the upper unity in the 6 directions of Atzilut. For since the flow descends from the 6 directions of Atzilut into the 6 directions of Beriah, as it says, as they are united above, so are they united below, the details of all the unifications, including the unification of the 12 diagonals, are like in Atzilut so in Beriah. This is like the 12 tribes, which have 2 rungs. First, they are the 6 doubles in the 6 directions of Beriah. Then they ascend to Atzilut. There the tribes went up, the tribes of Yah. Thus the tribes of Beriah said to Yaakov, who is the 6 directions of Atzilut, just as in your heart there is only one, the upper unity, so in our heart there is only one, the lower unity. This is Baruh Shem Keved, and the verse, for with you is the source of life, speaks of the 10 sefirot of Atzilut, while in your light we shall see light speaks of the 10 sefirot of Malhut in Beriah. If so, why do we find the opposite in the Beit HaMikdash, where the Shehinah was in the west specifically? The Holy of Holies was set at the western side. They would bow from the east toward the west, the reverse of our practice now when we bow toward the east. That reversal flips right and left. When one faces east, the south is to the right and the north to the left. But when one turns to the west and his back is to the east, the north is to the right and the south to the left. This seems to overturn the whole setup of east and west as length. The east is Kedem, the beginning of the line of flow, and the west is the end. Yet in the Mikdash the west was treated as the beginning, facing west made north the right and south the left. Thus offerings were on the northern side of the altar specifically, and not as we say, you created north and right, which implies north is the left and south the right. Likewise the table was on the north and the menorah on the south. When facing west, the table is to one's right and the menorah to one's left. The matter is this. In the descent of influence from the mashpia to the mekabel there are 2 modes. The mode when the light is descending from the giver to the receiver. Then everything follows the giver's stance of right and left. His right hand is the hand that bestows, like a householder stretching out his right hand to give. So above, when influence goes from high to low from the 6 directions of Atzilut, where the giver is the focus, we call the line length east to west. And south is the right, where Hesed starts. The sun rises in the east and goes to the south first, and he comes to the southeast corner of the altar, and so on. Therefore the 4 directions in all the worlds follow the 6 directions of Atzilut, from which the vitality of all worlds is drawn. The mode once the light has been received. Then the order flips. The receiver's right faces the giver's left, and his left faces the giver's right. Like letters on a seal, the right of the seal becomes the left in the wax. Likewise in the union of male and female, the left of the female faces the right of the male, and her right faces his left. So, in the time of the temple, since the Shehinah was received specifically in the west, the place of reception, the receiver's orientation dominated, north became right and south left. Hence bowing westward, offerings on the north, the table in the north and the menorah in the south. But now in exile, when the Shehinah is not revealed in the west, the east is primary, Kedem, and we bow eastward, south is to the right and north to the left, according to the giver's stance. And in the future, when the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun, and his name will be one like Havayah 1, then there will be no distinction of receiver and giver at all. Malhut will have the same 4 directions as the 6 directions of Atzilut. And further, there will be a 3rd ascent of Malhut, to be a hat with attic, higher than the name Havayah of Zir Anpin, namely to Ahaya, the inner Kita, which is above the grid of Het and Dale mentioned earlier. This is the secret of the lengthening of ehad, as will be explained with God's help. Now we can grasp the matter of one who lengthens ehad. What is this lengthening in ehad, and what does it mean that they lengthen his days and his years? Everything above concerning upper and lower unity in the nullification of the 6 directions, up and down, east and west, north and south, which are called place, is only the nullification of the existence to the nothingness. For place is the existence of a spreading from ayin to yesh, so that there are these 6 bounds. That is only relative to one who is within place, bounded by 4 cubits, with front and back, right and left. If he stands this way, east is in front and west behind, If he turns to the west, west is in front and east behind, thus right and left flip. But relative to the one who created place itself from iron, there is no east in front and west behind at all, and there is no up and down, for he is beyond place entirely. This is like the ark in the Holy of Holies. It stood in measured space and yet did not occupy measure 10 cubits of space to each side of the ark. This is utterly wondrous. Even when he brings place into being, Bereshit bara Elohim the heavens and the earth, up and down and the four directions, he himself is not contained in place, as it says, the heavens and the heaven of heavens cannot contain you. Only in the Holy of Holies did he constrict his Shehinah between the poles of the ark. For he is all able and can contract himself within boundary, even though the world is not his place. This is what one must contemplate in ehad in general, the nullification of the yesh to the ayin of God up to the highest, to before the kav. That is the essence of lengthening ehad. And the phrase, they lengthen his days, points to the future day that is entirely long. To understand this, recall the beginning, he separated the light from the darkness. Before separation, light and darkness were mixed. It is written, he forms light and creates darkness, and it was evening and it was morning, one day. There is no day without evening first. Why? Because the root of bringing yesh from ayin is that din and concealment precedes hesed. At first he considered creating with din, as it says Elohim at the beginning. Yet the actual creation is through hesed, for I said, the world will be built by hesed. But hesed must be preceded by tzimtzum and concealment. Therefore in every particular influx there is a pairing of these opposites, din first, then hesed. This is evening and then morning, in every detail. In avodah, one cannot attain true joy in God except after bitterness and submission. One stands to pray only from a heavy head. Prayer is drawing near to God in joy, shining divine light in the soul, but this light specifically illuminates the darkness, the heaviness of the body's nature and lusts. The more the bitterness, the greater the joy that follows. As the Zohar says, weeping embeds on this side, and joy on that. First teshuvah atah, then teshuvah ilah. In Torah, no one stands in a halakha unless he first stumbled in it. From milk comes cream, only after strain and worry. In livelihood, by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. According to the pain is the gain. Sowing with tears leads to harvesting with song. Thus evening then morning everywhere. That is the present order of the worlds. This is the meaning of it was evening and it was morning, one day, night precedes day. Likewise, souls cannot ascend in Gan Eden until they first immerse in Nahar Dinor, for they cannot receive the good light except after prior pain, according to the pain is the gain. Like one seeking to enter the palace of a king, he is not admitted until he has suffered much. We see this also in worldly matters. A person does not attain any rising, whether in wealth, standing, children, or wisdom, without the opposite first, hardship, loss, descent, and the like, in proportion to the rise. One who labors in wisdom will not reach its fullness until great toil and anguish of soul, until he grows faint and worn, and only then the light of wisdom shines to him. Words of Torah endure only in one who kills himself over them, and from milk one brings forth cream, and a person does not grasp a halakha until he has erred in it, and the many similar sayings that speak of humility and suffering in study as the path to its perfection. So too in making a living. No success without toil and pain first, even to the point of despair, and then the profit comes. Like a sower who, when he thinks he will lose, then finds blessing, he goes weeping, carrying the seed, he comes in song, carrying his sheaves. He must lay out expenses and face hindrances, and only then profit. This is the way of the divine flow even in the lowest world, the bread he gives to all flesh. Since it is called hesed, it must be preceded by din, the withholding and hardship that is like darkness before light. The same in the light of wisdom. There is no attainment without prior darkness, great toil, worry, and pain of heart. We reveal Torah's secrets only to one whose heart trembles within him. The greater the light, the deeper the prior awe and lowliness needed. This explains evening and morning, and also the exiles. Exile is called night. The people walking in darkness saw a great light. Egypt was darkness for the soul, Sinai was a great light. So too the final exile is prolonged with a very great concealment because an even greater light is destined. Messiah, the last Redeemer, greater than the first. The sun rose, that is Moshe, the sun set, that is exile, and again the sun rises, that is Messiah, a great day that is all long. Therefore exile is called pregnancy and redemption birth. I today have begotten you. In Egypt they were as a fetus, in redemption, as birth and blood. So too this last exile is pregnancy, with labor pains and travail, which are the darkness before the light. The measure of pain reveals the measure of light to follow, for it is very great. All this describes the state after Havayah separated light from darkness, calling the light day and the darkness night, so that day does not exist without night first. But before that separation, light and darkness were included. And in the future it is written, at evening there will be light, for before him darkness is as light, and night will shine like day. Then the day will be greater than 24 hours, the whole span being day with no night at all. Something like this already occurred in the days of Yehoshua, when the sun stood still in the middle of the heavens and did not hurry to set. That day was a complete great day beyond the usual 24 hours. Scripture says, there was no day like that, which hints to the great day that will come. At present, the 12 hours of night are aligned with the 12 permutations of the name Adonai, and they precede the 12 hours of day that are aligned with the permutations of Havayah. The sages say, the day has 12 hours, during the first 3 the Holy One sits and studies Torah, and so on, until he sits and sustains the world, for Hesed is all the day. At night he rides upon his swift caravan and moves about. Yet it seems difficult. How will the future state not follow the order of emanation and creation, which began with darkness first and then light, as in it was evening and it was morning? The root of that order is the first symptom, called the empty void. He made darkness his screen, and afterward he revealed the first ray. That is, he forms light, the beginning of the kav that is the source of all hishtalshalut. Likewise, tohu and tikkun, the earth was tohu and darkness, and afterward, let there be light, the first kav in general. How then will it be reversed, so that darkness itself will shine as light and night will be as day? The answer, this is the primary future innovation. The concealment itself will shine. The hidden will come to revelation as it is, not as now where in your light we see light through prior tzimtzum. Now it is Bereshit bara Elokim which is din and concealment first. In the future there will be a revelation of the essence of the infinite below as he is above. This is the meaning of you will no longer have the sun for daylight, for sun and shield are Havayah and Elokim. In the future the Holy One will remove the sun from its sheath. The sheath is the name Elokim, the screen that hides the name Havayah, whose root is the first concealment preceding the kav. At the very outset he said, the world will be built by Hesed, meaning the primal desire to emanate and create was the essential goodness and the will to bestow. That Hesed was included in the hidden essence, and because it was infinite, it could not be drawn out in a measured kav to build a finite world unless it were first screened and concealed within the essence, which is called darkness. Thus light and darkness were together in the essence. Only after the first concealment did the light of Hesed come out. Therefore darkness preceded light on every level, even at Sinai and in prophecy, which came in a cloud and thick darkness. But the hidden light reserved for the righteous in the future is above the light that comes after concealment. There the concealment itself will shine. A taste of this appeared at the sea, and the cloud and the darkness gave light to the night. Egypt had darkness, Israel had light, and so in the future when he removes the sheath Elokim, those who are righteous will be healed in that light and the wicked judged by it, two opposites at once. This essential Hesed, which was included in the essence, when it emerges as it is, in an infinite manner and not via tzimtzum, is called the day that is entirely long. This is the secret of lengthening ehad, and for that they lengthen his days. Although days are measures of the attributes, then they will not be bounded even though they appear as time divided into before and after. That is the secret of the switch from ehad to va'ad. Time will be suffused with the eternity of the infinite. Havayah will be for you an everlasting light. These are the life of the world. The novelty is that the very concealment will shine within the measured realm of time, yet not be limited by it. It is known regarding lengthening Havayah that there are two ways the flow comes. One is from ayin to yesh, and this must come after the concealment, a mode of knowledge from below upward. The other is flow from the true being of the essence, called the true yesh. This is his essential goodness and kindness, called from yesh to ayin, meaning from being to the recipient who had been nothing. The vessel able to receive the entire truth of the essential light as it is what Scripture calls night will shine as day. The measure of day, the abundant essential ehad, will be drawn from hiddenness into revelation as it is, into a vessel that can hold the essence without prior tzimtzum. That vessel is called night when it shines like day without prior concealment. The two together are equally counted by him. That is lengthening, he bears both knowledges. What now is a flow from ayin to yesh will in the future be like the higher knowledge, truly equal. This is Va'ad, the eternity we spoke of. It is like Pele and Aleph together. When he is the place of the world is not his place, opposites together. So too, time will be filled with the light of the essence in such a way that days and years are present yet not bounded. With length of days I will satisfy him, we shall live before him. This is the day when Havayah is one and his name one, so that the essence, which is alone, and the name that clothes in the sefirot, are one without difference between upper and lower unity. Moreover, there will be a surpassing advantage of the light from the very darkness when the hidden itself shines. Hence, at night his song is with me, and my soul yearns for you at night. In the future the lower unity will be higher than the upper unity as we know it now, which is why on Yom Kippur we say Baruh aloud. For Israel now receive divine light in the order of Hishtalshalat of darkness and light. They cannot delight in Havayah except through prior concealment. Their present root is in the light after tzimtzum. Israel arose in thought, the light of Homer. But in the future they will rise into the essence itself, beyond tzimtzum, when Israel arose in the essential thought itself. Then there will be no precedence of darkness to light, for they will delight in Havayah without veil. Your eyes shall behold your teacher, you will be called my desire, receiving the true good that was stored for those who fear him, the hidden light reserved for the righteous. To deepen this, consider our plea, ehad levavenu lerahava yul yira. What is this ehad of the heart? It means to unite the two hearts, as in with all your hearts, that is two inclinations. The inner heart and the outer heart should become one. The love in the outer heart that is born of intellect should be unified with the higher love that is above intellect in the inner heart, so that the outer love too becomes above reason like the higher love. That is ehad levavenu. It asks that the outer heart become a vessel for essential love and awe. One might wonder how the bounded can become unbounded and join as one. This is the secret of one who lengthens ehad. By lengthening the ehad, his days meaning his measures of love and awe are lengthened beyond bounds. Let us explain inner heart and outer heart. There are two modes of will. One is the simple will of the very essence of the soul, in which the whole soul is bound. This is called nefesh itself. It is the core of mesirut nefesh. It is the inner heart, the great love above intellect, boundless. The second is a composite will, compounded with reason and motive, housed in the mind and drawn into the heart as ratzon of the heart born from understanding. This is measured. It is called the outer heart. With all your hearts means both. Also the outer heart should love. The request ehad levavenu is that the outer love too be uplifted to the rung of the inner simple will, above reason, and that they be truly one. Like you are fair, my companion, like Tirzah which the sages read as two retzonot united, the upper and the lower, together whole. How can the bounded love rise to the unbounded love and truly unite, given that the inner love moves as a straight descent to shine even in mind, while the outer love rises as an ascent with heat and striving? They are like fire and water. How can they join? Return to the separation between light and darkness. That is the current condition. But in the future, night will shine like day, as it was before the separation and even greater. Since the essential ehad will be revealed into time itself, which is Va'ad, the two retzonot will be one. How? The separation was at the level of Homer. In wisdom he created, which introduced division and measure, right and left, and hence produced measured emotions and an outer love born of mind. But above Homer in Ketah and above, which is the simple will, there is no measured division. There the emotions are not separate. They are one within the essence, like the love for life itself and the hatred of what destroys life, which are not two different emotions but a single essential orientation without bounds. Therefore, in the simple will there is no division of light and darkness. This is called length of days, or a day entirely long, because the 6 directions that are in the simple will are endlessly extended and not limited or divided. This is the meaning of one who lengthens ehad. He draws unity from the level of the simple will above Homer. The earlier discussion of Aleph and Pele spoke of the unity of the 6 directions in Homer, Aleph as a lufo shel alam, source for place. That is still only the nullification of the yesh in ayin at the level of Homer. It is not yet above Homer. Lengthening ehad means unity in the attributes of the simple will, which are the 10 hidden sefirot in the essence. Each attribute there is infinite, yet they are completely one with each other and with the essence. This is you are one, the unity of the sefirot in the essence, far above he and his life force are one in Atzilut. All the unifications we perform in Shma within the Kav are still within the order of Hishtalshalut. The true unity is the unity of his essential attributes in the essence. That is, to him and not to his attributes, meaning not even to his essential attributes as distinct items, but to him. Yet precisely from that level the new flows are drawn into the 18 blessings of the Amidah, because every true new bestowal comes from his essential attributes. This is the secret of Rabbi Akiva, who would lengthen in ehad until his soul departed in ehad. One might ask, if the path is through mesirut nefesh, should not and you shall love with all your soul come before ehad? The truth is that Israel has 2 roots. One as souls in bodies, rooted in Adam, the level of Homer. The other is their primal root in the essence, before thought. In whom did he take counsel? In the souls of the righteous. From that essential root, even the least Jew can give his life for Kiddush Hashem. Therefore we say ehad with mesirut nefesh even before with all your soul. Rabbi Akiva longed to fulfill this in actuality, even if they take his soul, because present souls as they are in bodies are rooted in Homer and their mesirut nefesh is the nullification of the yesh to the ayin of their source. He wanted actual mesirut nefesh to reach the essential level. Thus he lengthened the ehad until his soul cleaved to the simple one. Therefore one who lengthens ehad draws unity from the attributes in the essence, and as a result they lengthen his days and his years. His love and awe in the heart become unbounded, which is called length of days, because Shema Yisrael means Israel as li rosh, my head, that is Israel in their essential root. Havayah the essence is Elokeinu also below, one above as the simple one, and one below in the unity of the 6 directions. From this follows, and you shall love with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your middot, that is beyond limit. Above, this is the long days within the attributes of the essence, the day all long. With length of days I will satisfy him, we shall live before him. Now we can explain our request Ve'ehad levavenu, that the outer heart should be unified with the inner heart so that outer love and awe, which are measured by the mind, rise to the unbounded of the inner heart, which is called length of days. The 2 hearts are hinted in back and front you formed me. Like Adam whose body was formed last among created beings, even the gnat preceded him. That is the dust of his body. But he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. That soul derives from the life of worlds and preceded all created things in the essential thought. Back and front you formed me means he joined the beginning with the end, so that the beginning is wedged in the end and the end in the beginning. Thus in every Jew there are 2 hearts. The inner heart in the right side of the heart, where the breath of life and the soul from the brain flows, this is called the hidden point of the heart. It cannot be fully revealed in the heart, because the vessels of mind and heart are too narrow to hold so great a light. It is a natural essential love concealed in the depths. It flashes openly in moments of trial, as in Kiddush Hashem, even in the simplest Jew, and on Shabbat and festivals, and in the 10 days of Teshuvah it is more revealed. Opposite it is the outer heart in the left chamber, the seat of the animal soul in the heat of blood. There resides the root of evil in man, the dust nature. The task is that the inner right chamber should shine into the outer left chamber so that they be one. That is, with all your hearts, both inclinations. Sometimes this is in a measured way through understanding. But sometimes, and this is the aim, it is in an unbounded way like the inner love. In practice, many seekers see that although their initial inspiration is according to their meditation, later they come to a much greater arousal beyond what mind and heart can contain, the very simplicity of the soul, which is with all your middot. However, most of the time the inner point is in hiddenness. It is a markif, a surrounding defender that in its hiddenness shields the person from falling the whole day. But the main work is to bring the hidden into revelation. My candle is Havayah, Havayah will brighten my darkness, to illuminate the coarse darkness of the left chamber until there is one heart. This is ehad levavenu. The outer heart becomes one with the inner heart, and then even the measured love and awe in the heart become unbounded like the essence within. When the hidden point is not shining, this is like after the separation of light and darkness. But when darkness shines like light, this is above the source of souls in Homer and even above Adam at he breathed, for it is from the essence above Homer. That is why the soul is joined to the body. By uniting both hearts, the spark rises higher than its source, for descent is for the sake of ascent. Through, with both your hearts, the spark ascends into the light of the essence. Rabbi Akiva sought mesirut nefesh in body, exactly for this. And a Baal Teshuvah, who turns darkness into light, reaches a level beyond the righteous, who draw light, for he draws the hidden into light. This is the lengthening of ehad, drawing from the essence so that love and awe become long days beyond measure by uniting the two hearts. So why does it say, and his years, as if actual lifetime is extended beyond the fixed allotment? Each person has a fixed number of days allotted. All the days were formed, and not one among them, meaning each day has its distinct light of unity to be revealed in the soul, in Torah and mitzvot, in livelihood and kindness. When the set number is complete, he has no more life from above in the measured order. But that is only from the source of souls in Adam, within the order of Alam, Shona, Nefesh and measure. From the essential root in the infinite, above Adam, there is eternity. I will fill the number of your days. He will revive us after 2 days. On the third day he will raise us up and we shall live before him. This is life of the world to come after resurrection, the day that is all good. With length of days I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. A taste of that is the teaching that they lengthen his days and years, meaning they draw life beyond the measured allotment, because time division into day and night applies only when there is separation of light and darkness. When night shines like day, there is no limit to days and years. Young I was and also I aged, said by the governing prince of the world, but before the Holy One there is no aging. The Ancient of Days Saturday. This is vared as the switch of ehad. Time itself becomes eternal through the radiance of the essence who lives and endures forever. There is no number to your years, no end to your days. This is the infinite within days and years, the primordial days. Therefore, through Shma and lengthening ehad, one merits length of days and years above measure, the life of the world. He will raise us and we shall live before him. Now we can understand ehad levavenu l'rahava yul yira et shimka. Why mention yira here, when the blessing Ahavat Olam opens and closes with love? The answer: this entire blessing is a preparation for the 2 paragraphs of Shema and for tzitzit which is included with Shema. At first we speak of Ahavat Olam because of the patriarchs who kept all Torah and mitzvot in spirituality, and from their merit we ask to be graced to keep the mitzvot in actuality. But the first foundational mitzvah is the unity of God in Kiryat Shema. Therefore we ask for mercy and understanding to have a heart to hear, keep, and do, that our eyes be illuminated in his Torah and that we cleave to his mitzvot, which is intent and desire of the heart. Hence we say, ehad levavenu l'rahava yul yira et shimka, because this includes the 2 paragraphs, in the first the mitzvah of love, v'havta, and in the second the mitzvah of yira which is service, to love Havayah your God and to serve him with all your heart, for service is in yira, as in serve Havayah with yira. And now Israel, what does Havayah your God ask of you but to fear Havayah your God, to walk in his ways, and to love him, and to serve Havayah your God with all your heart and soul, to keep his mitzvot. Although love is named, the root is yira. The end of the matter: fear God and keep his mitzvot. Therefore Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korah said, the paragraph of Shema precedes Havayah im Shemoah so that he first accept upon himself the yoke of the kingdom of heaven and afterward the yoke of mitzvot. The acceptance of mitzvot is in inner yira, which is primary in service, even though the paragraph mentions love, because service is in yira, while joy in service belongs to love. Both are true. This is clarified by the two kinds of ehad. One is the servant who does chores and fixes what is lacking and awaits his wage. That parallels Kabbalat ol, fear, turning from evil, rectifications and separations, the labor of Berurim, called of Elikim, rectifying for the name Elikim, removing nourishment from the external forces. His work is in yira. The second is an artisan servant who enriches his master by making precious works, by which the master becomes great and wealthy. This is like the positive mitzvot, the paths of Havayah, especially Torah, the halakot, which are his ways. This is serve Havayah with joy. It is the level of ehad Havayah, even above ben, like Moshe Avdu. Yet even here, rejoice with trembling. Joy of love must be held within inner yira, which is the core. Therefore the blessing asks for both, love and yira, and to unite the heart so that love will be with inner yira. 16. To deepen and clarify the two modes of unification in the recitation of Shma, from below to above and from above to below, as in crown him over the heavens, etc. For these depend on one another and are truly one, we must first preface a point explained elsewhere about the distinction between Shma and prayer. At first glance, from everything said above, it would seem that the unification in Shma, and especially the lengthening on the word ehad, is only for the sake of drawing divinity from above to below, like crown him, which is the idea of the 18 blessings of the Amidah. If so, why is it that one whose occupation is Torah, like Rabbi Yehuda the Nasi, suffices with Shema yet is not obligated in the same way regarding prayer? Because prayer is rabbinic and called life of the hour, while Shema is from the Torah and is called life of the world? And if so, why in prayer must one concentrate in the first 3 blessings and recite it specifically standing, whereas for Shema one may sit and read? And some say that only the first verse of Shema requires intent. And for Shema there is no need for bows, whereas in prayer one bows, bend at Baruh. It would then appear that for one whose occupation is Torah, Shema is weightier than prayer. To understand all this, it is written, for who is a great nation that has a God so near to it as Havayah our God whenever we call to him? Our sages comment, to him, and not to his attributes. Yet this raises a difficulty from their other saying, is it possible to cleave to the divine presence? Rather, cleave to his attributes, meaning, just as he is compassionate, so you be compassionate. This implies that the primary cleaving and attachment is specifically to his attributes, the 10 sefirot, for one cannot cleave to the essence of the Infinite One, for no thought can grasp him, and you are one, but not in account of attributes, and not of any of those measures, so the bond is in what the mind and heart can apprehend. How then can Scripture say to him and not to his attributes, suggesting that the cleaving, whenever we call to him, is precisely to him, to the essence of the infinite, far beyond the sefirot? In truth, according to the plain sense of many verses, the command to cleave is indeed to the essence itself. After Havayah your God you shall walk, and to him you shall cleave, him you shall serve, and to him you shall cleave, and you who cleave to Havayah your God, to cleave to him. All these indicate the true cleaving is to the essence, for elevation, nullification, and inclusion are specifically to the essence, as in actual mesirut nefesh, self-surrender, and even in potential, with all your soul, even if he takes your soul. This is, to you Havayah I lift my soul, to you specifically, whom have I in heaven? And with you I desire nothing on earth. Likewise the plain sense of Havayah is near to all who call upon him, is that the calling is a plea and cry that he should answer. He answers us on the day we call. Havayah is near to all who call upon him, to him, not merely to his attributes. This seems the opposite of is it possible to cleave to him? Rather, cleave to his attributes, for the reason that the essence is not graspable. The resolution is that both are true, for in we call to him there is also the opposite sense, calling as drawing down from above to below, like calling a friend to come over and help. So, we call to him means he turn toward us and be drawn near. Thus Havayah is near to all who call upon him in distress, he answers us on the day we call. The simple reading of the verse supports this. What great nation has a God so near to it as Havayah our God whenever we call to him? The beginning explains the end. Near here means he comes close, is drawn to the one who calls. Accordingly, the two teachings are not contradictory. To him and not to his attributes refers to elevation and self-nullification, the soul's inclusion in the essence, beyond the sefirot. But is it possible to cleave, rather, cleave to his attributes refers to drawing down and emulation, to go in his ways, in his attributes, which are the divine measures extended from the essence into the worlds, in which he unites and is bound. The intention is not to the attributes alone, but to the essence as vested within them. When the essence descends into the chain of the 10 sefirot of Atzilut Beri Yetzirah, he becomes graspable to recipients, through wisdom and understanding, and the qualities of kindness, strength, and compassion. The patriarchs were a chariot to these, as were Moshe and Aaron. Therefore every Jew, whose root lies in the sefirot of Atzilut, is instructed to cleave to his attributes, to be attached and to resemble his ways, even though the soul is embodied. In the image of the supernal Adam, I will liken myself to the Most High, by cleaving to his wisdom and will in Torah and mitzvot. But to the essence there is no resembling, for he is beyond attributes and wisdom entirely, not of those measures. Hence the saying, is it possible to cleave to him? No, only by mesirut nefesh, the total yielding of the soul, beyond intellect and measure, is there true cleaving to him. To you, Havayah, I lift my soul. The primary mitzvah of Deveikut is this self-surrender into the essence, not to the attributes. Therefore, to him and not to his attributes. Both modes are thus valid. 1. Ascent and inclusion in the essence. 2. Drawing down to walk in his ways, the latter being the meaning of cleave to his attributes. This also explains the difference between Shma and prayer, even though superficially both seem about drawing divinity downward, crown him, which is the Amidah. In truth, Shma and prayer are opposites, yet depend on each other and become one, hence Shma precedes prayer. Without Shma there is no prayer. Briefly, following the resolution of the two teachings, the primary mitzvah of Deveikut stated in Scripture is to be included and nullified with one's entire soul in the essence, to him and not to his attributes. This is the primary intent of Shma in its first verse, the unification of the 10 sefirot as they are included in the essence of the emanator. This is the main thrust of the Kabbalistic intentions in Shma, as explained at length above regarding lengthening on ehad, and, in the revealed sense, it is crown him over heaven and earth and the 4 directions, which is the same matter, the nullification of the 6 directions in relation to the essence. You, Havayah, are the greatness, here is a place with me, that he and his life forces are one. Likewise in ehad, the aleph with het and daleh, 9 sefirot of Zah Anpin and the daleh of kingship, are included in the essence. Because the main intention in the first verse of Shma is to give over one's soul in ehad, lengthening on ehad, and in and you shall love, with all your soul, even if he takes your soul, therefore even one whose occupation is Torah, like Rabbi Yehuda the Nasi, interrupts for Shma. This is far above the intentions of the 18 blessings, which are downward flows within the sefirot. Prayer, by contrast, follows, is it possible to cleave, rather, cleave to his attributes. It is about drawing down from above to below. That is, like the second meaning of we call to him, the request that he come to us. Thus in saying Baruh atah Havayah, the intention is specifically to draw the light of the essence of the infinite into the name Havayah, so that he be, for example, healer of the sick, and so on. The 18 blessings are 18 drawings from the essence into his attributes, compassion, graciousness, etc., whose totality is the 10 sefirot. Therefore, even though Shma, ascent, and prayer, descent, are opposites, they are one and each depends on the other. Through the intention of Shma, the self-nullification and inclusion of the sefirot in the essence, that specifically enables and elicits the drawing of the essence in the Amidah. Every ascent causes a descent in equal measure. Thus, without the prior mitzvah of Shma, the first paragraph, one would not affect the drawings of the 18 blessings. The supernal unifications wrought by the elevation of the 10 sefirot into the essence are the source for all the downward flows in the Amidah, so that in blessed are you the essence be drawn into the name Havayah, through the sefirot, into their vessels, until vesting in this world, to heal the sick, and the like, in actual reality.